Good morning, students. I hope you all are good. So today we will continue chapter number 8, that is metallurgy. This is very important chapter, okay? So in this lecture we will discuss extraction of moderately reactive metals, okay, and extraction of less reactive metals, okay. So you can see, can you tell, there are two questions are given, so its answer is also given here. What are the moderately reactive metals? So we can say those metals whose reactivity lies between most reactive metals and least reactive metals is called moderately reactive metals, okay. In which form do the moderately reactive metals occur in the nature? So students, moderately reactive metals occurs in sulfide and in the form of carbonates, okay. So mainly they form in the nature in two types, metal sulfides and metal carbonates, okay. So you can see here the metals in the middle of the reactivity series such as iron, zinc, lead, copper are moderately reactive. Usually they occur in the form of their sulfide salts or carbonate, okay. It is easier to obtain metals from their oxide rather than sulfide or carbonates. Therefore, the sulfide ores are strongly heated in air to transform them into carbonates. Listen, if moderately reactive metals are in the form of sulfide or in carbonate form, then first of all we convert sulfide salts or carbonate into metal oxide. You can see here this is zinc sulfide, this is in the sulfide form, and zinc carbonate, this is the in carbonate form. So first of all we convert metal sulfide or metal carbonate into metal oxide. After that we will use some reducing agent and then we get pure metal, okay. So there is two important terms are there, so always remember, roasting is used for zinc sulfide and calcination is used for carbonate. This is important, students. Roasting is used for sulfide ore, or we can say calcination is used for carbonate, okay. So there may be written here, therefore the sulfide ores are strongly heated in air to transform them into oxide. This process is called roasting. In case of roasting we use sufficient air, but in case of calcination we use limited air to transform zinc carbonate into zinc oxide. The following reactions: carbonates ore are strongly heated in a limited supply of air to transform them into oxide. This process is called calcination. So what is calcination? Then your answer will be carbonate ores are strongly heated in the limited supply of air to transform them into oxide. This process is called calcination. The one example is here. And what is roasting? The definition of roasting is here. Sulfides ores are strongly heated in air to transform them into oxides. This process is called roasting. Roasting is done in the excess air. Calcination is done in the limited supply of air. Okay. So you can see zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is further reduced by reducing agent to obtain zinc. So this is our main target to obtain metals. Okay. Apart from carbon, this is carbon here the reducing agent. Apart from carbon, reactive metals such as sodium, calcium, aluminium are also used as a reducing agent for reduction of metals oxide. So if you want to reduction of metal oxide, we can also use most reactive elements like sodium, calcium and aluminium, etc. Okay. This is because these metals means like metals which is more reactive than moderate reactive, they displace or use reducing agent for the reduction of metal oxide to obtain metals. This is because metals displace moderately reactive metals to form its compounds. For example, when you can say manganese dioxide is reduced by aluminium. So here aluminium is the reducing agent. Okay. Manganese dioxide is ignited by aluminium powder. The following reaction take place. Magnesium dioxide plus aluminium, it's react to get manganese plus aluminium oxide plus heat. There is so much heat liberated in this reaction. Identify the substances undergoes oxidation and reduction in this reaction. So you can see there is in the reactant side there is two reactant, aluminium and manganese dioxide. But in case of aluminium there is no oxygen, but in the product there is oxygen is present in aluminium. So this is the oxidation of aluminium take place. And manganese there is oxygen, but in the manganese in the product side there is no oxygen. This is the example of this is reduction of manganese dioxide is took place in this reaction. Okay. So here this is the reduction and here is the oxidation. Why this is reduction? The reason is since oxygen is losing from the reactant, so that's why a reduction take place. But in case of aluminium, reactant is gaining oxygen, so that's why there is oxidation take place of aluminium. Okay. So students, this one is omitted. Okay. Similarly, you can take aluminium as a reducing agent. You can take aluminium as a reducing agent. If iron oxide is reduced with aluminium, we get iron. So you have to, actually our main focus is to obtain metal, pure metal. Okay. So here we are getting iron plus aluminium oxide plus heat. This aluminium reduced. This aluminium is acting here as a reducing agent because aluminium is more reactive than iron. This is omitted. So your next topic is extraction of less reactive metals. So the metals at the bottom of the reactivity series of metals are less reactive. That is why they are found in free state. Why less reactive metals are found in free state? The reason is given. For example, because they are less reactive and they do not react with moisture, air and acid, etc. That's why we use gold, silver, platinum as a ornaments. These reserves of copper in free state are very few. Presently, copper is found mainly in the form of copper sulfide. Copper is found mainly in copper sulfide. Copper is obtained from copper sulfide or just by heating in air. So simply if you heat copper sulfide, Copper sulfide is the ore of copper. So if you see simply, if you hit copper sulfide in the presence of air, if I say in the presence of air, you have to take oxygen. Okay. So we get copper oxide. First we convert sulfide ore into oxide ore, and then again this copper oxide reacts with copper sulfide to form copper plus SO2, sulfur dioxide gas. Okay. So collect the information regarding how mercury is extracted from its ore cinnabar, and write the corresponding chemical reaction. So you can see we have to extract mercury from the cinnabar. So this is cinnabar, this is mercury sulfide or cinnabar. Cinnabar is the ore of mercury. So simply, if you simply heat in the presence of air, it gives mercury oxide, and again this mercury oxide react with oxygen to get mercury. Okay. So your next part, we have done the refining of moderate and less reactive metals. So now refining of metals. Metals obtained by various reduction process. Metals obtained by various reduction process described above are not very pure. For example, like you can see here, you get zinc with the help of reduction, with the help of reducing agent carbon. Similarly, we get manganese here from the reducing agent like aluminium. So these metals are not very pure. So that's why refining of metals is important. So they contain impurities. The impurities need to be separated to obtain pure metal, right? Electrolysis method is used to obtain pure metals from the impure metals. Remember, electrolysis method is used to obtain pure metals from the impure metals. Okay. So your next topic is corrosion of metals. So can you recall what is meant by corrosion? Simply corrosion means degradation of metals. So have you seen following things? Of course we have seen corrosion in iron or in our windows in day-to-day life, even in iron door. So old iron bars of buildings, copper vessels do not clean for long time, silver ornaments or idols exposed to air for long time, old abandoned vehicles fit to be thrown away. So think about this. Why do silver articles turn blackish? The reason is due to the formation of silver sulfide, and while copper vessels turns greenish, the reason is due to the formation of copper carbonate. So in case of copper, there is a greenish, they turns greenish, the reason is due to the formation of copper carbonate. But in case of silver, this is, remember, in case of silver, why they turns blackish? The reason is due to the formation of silver sulfide on keeping in air for a long time. If you left these two things like silver, they will turn blackish due to the formation of silver sulfide, and if you if you left copper vessels for a long time in the presence of air or in moisture, they will turn greenish. The reason is due to the formation of copper carbonates. So you can see rusting of iron articles causes large financial loss. Thus, corrosion of iron, that is rusting, is a big problem. Of course, it is a big problem. Rusting of any metals is not good for us because they causes large financial losses, right? So you can see here, iron reacts with moist air and a deposit of reddish substance. That reddish substance is called rust, and the chemical formula of rust is Fe2O3 plus H2O. Okay, and carbon dioxide in moist air reacts with the surface of copper vessels. So remember, carbon dioxide in the moist air reacts with surface of copper vessels. Copper loses its luster due to formation of greenish layer of copper carbonate. I have already explained you on its surface. Okay, this is called patination of copper. So in case of patination of copper, there is a layer of copper carbonate on the surface of copper, and that layer is called patination of copper. For example, if you left for a long time copper, they will react from carbon dioxide, copper plus carbon dioxide in the presence of air. It forms copper carbonate, and the color of the copper carbonate greenish, plus hydrogen gas is released. But in case of silver, on exposure of air, silver particles turn blackish after some time. This is because of the layer of silver sulfide. So in case of silver, there is a layer of silver sulfide, Ag2 is formed by the reaction of silver with hydrogen sulfide in the air. So silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide to form silver sulfide. This is blackish in color plus hydrogen gas. By oxidation of aluminium, a thin layer of aluminium oxide is formed on it. So in case of aluminium oxide is formed. What is aluminium oxide? There is a thin layer of aluminium oxide formed on it. That means aluminium react with oxygen to form aluminium oxide. So now next topic is prevention of corrosion. So there are many methods to prevent corrosion. Okay. So which measures would you suggest to stop the corrosion of metallic articles or not to allow the corrosion to start? So first measure you will take this one, to fix a layer of some substance on the metal surface so that the contact of metals with moisture and oxygen in the air is prevented and no reaction would occur between them. It means they are saying we will place a layer on the metal surface. For example, if I say this is a iron sheet, right? This is iron sheet. So if there is a corrosion is taking place, so if you want to prevent corrosion, so what? Simply you can put here a paint. So if you paint this surface, it means you have broken the contact between the metals and the air, moisture and carbon dioxide, etc., which was present in the air. Okay, so if you put a layer, so direct contact between this metal and air will be it will break down. So this metal is now safe temporarily, not permanent. Second one, what is done to prevent rusting of iron windows and iron doors of your house? So this is a simple questions. This is a practical questions also. So to prevent corrosions of metal by applying a layer of paint, we can apply a paint, oil, grease or varnish or on their surface, right? Not here, this is on their surface. For example, corrosion of iron can be prevented by this method. Simply if you paint, then corrosion of the iron will be prevented. So same thing is written here. So you can read here. Now use your brain power. So can we permanently prevent the rusting of an iron articles by applying a layer of paint on its surface? So no. Permanently we cannot prevent from the corrosion. Paint is the temporary solution. Okay. So if answer is given here, we cannot protect the articles permanently from rusting by painting them. The method of painting is suitable for short time. If there is a scratch on the paint on the surface of the articles, and if a small surface of the metals comes in contact with air, the process of rusting starts below the layer of paint. Actually, main reason of rusting of iron is air or moisture or water present in the atmosphere. So why do new iron sheet appear shiny? The reason is because they reflect reflection of light from new sheet more and more, because new sheet reflects more and more lights. That's why they appear shiny. Corrosion can be prevented by putting a layer of non-corrodible metal on a corrodible metal. This can be done many ways. So there are many ways to prevent corrosion, like galvanizing, tinning, anodization and electroplating, etc. So what is galvanizing? So in this method, a thin layer of zinc is applied to prevent corrosion of iron or steel. So actually in case of galvanizing, we apply a thin layer of zinc, this is important, on the surface of iron or steel. So galvanizing is used for iron and steel to prevent the corrosion. For example, shining iron nails, pins. This you have seen at your home, iron nails, pins, etc. In this method, corrosion of zinc occurs first. If you suppose this is a metal, and on this metal there is a metal of zinc. So first of all, the corrosion of zinc will take place. So same thing is written here. In this method, corrosion of zinc occurs first because zinc is more electropositive than iron. Of course, if you see reactivity table, then you will find that zinc is more reactive than iron metal. So first of all, corrosion of zinc will take place. Then if that layer will remove from the surface of iron, then iron will expose with air, then iron will rust or the corrosion of iron will take place. So zinc occurs in this method, corrosion of zinc occurs first because zinc is more electropositive than iron. After few rainy season, zinc layer goes away and the inner iron gets exposed, then iron start rusting. Okay, so in the galvanizing process, many processes are there. So first one is casting, cleaning, then rinsing, then pickling, then again rinsing. This is the flux solution. Then drying, zinc bath, cooling, inspection. So this is not more important, but this is important. What is galvanizing? This is important. But if you want to read, you can read here. Next is tinning. So you can see this is tin. So we are going to use a layer of tin. Tinning means this is tinning. It means कि a layer of tin will be deposited on metals. Okay, tinning. So in this method, a layer of molten tin is deposited on metal. So in this tinning, what we do in this method, a layer of molten tin is deposited on metals. We call this as kalhai. A greenish layer forms on the surface of copper or brass vessels. This greenish layer is poisonous. If buttermilk or curry is placed in such vessels, it gets spoiled. So if you in day-to-day life, we can see on the surface of copper or brass vessels there is a greenish layer, and that greenish layer is poisonous. And if you keep buttermilk or curry in that vessels, then that buttermilk or curry will be spoiled. Okay, tinning is done to prevent all such damage. Okay, so next topic is anodizing. So it is used for copper and aluminium. Generally we use anodizing to prevent corrosion of copper and aluminium. So what is anodizing? So in this method, if questions come what is anodizing explained, then you will write in the anodizing method, or we can say in this method, metals like copper, aluminium are coated with a thin and strong layer of their oxides. It means if you want to stop corrosion, if you want to prevent corrosion of aluminium, then you will use aluminium oxide itself. And if you want to prevent copper, then you will use copper oxide. Okay, so same thing written here. In this method, metal like copper and aluminium are coated with a thin and strong layer of their oxide. It means if you take aluminium, then you will use aluminium oxide. If you want to prevent corrosion of copper, then you will use copper oxide by means of electrolysis. I have already explained you. So by electrolysis, for this a copper or aluminium articles is used as an anode. So if suppose you are anodizing aluminium, so aluminium will be acts as an anode. If you are anodizing copper, so copper will act like anode. As this oxide layer is strong and uniform all over the surface. If you make aluminium or copper as an anode, then there will be a strong layer and a strong and uniform of all the surface over all the surface. It is useful for prevention of further corrosion of metals. So this is the diagram is here. Suppose this is aluminium. So this is the positive terminal of the battery. So this all became anode. Okay, and this is the cathode. So in case of electrolysis, be pass electric current, okay, in the solution. And here if you are taking aluminium, so on this surface there will be aluminium oxide will be formed, a layer of aluminium oxide will form. If you do for a long time, the aluminium oxide layer of the aluminium oxide layer will be strong and strong on the surface of aluminium, okay. So for example, when aluminium is anodized, a thin layer of aluminium oxide is formed. I have already explained you. If aluminium is anodized, suppose this is aluminium, then a thin layer of aluminium oxide is formed on this surface. Thin layer of aluminium oxide is formed. It obstructs the contact of aluminium with oxygen and water. So suppose this is aluminium, and on this aluminium surface you have applied a oxide of aluminium. It means aluminium oxide. So there will be no direct contact between aluminium and air and water, because in between aluminium and water and air there is a layer of aluminium oxide. This prevents further oxidation. This protection can be further increased by making oxide layer thicker during anodizing. So if you want to make aluminium oxide layer thicker, then what you have to do, you have to increase this protection can be further increased by making the oxide layer thicker during the anodizing. So if you do anodizing for a long time, then obviously there will be a strong layer and thicker layer on the surface of aluminium. So in this type we do the anodizing, okay. So next method of prevention is electroplating. So in case of electroplating, listen, in this method a less reactive metal is coated on the more reactive metals by electrolysis, right? In case of electroplating, suppose here is a silver plate, and here is aluminium. If I compare between silver and aluminium, which is less reactive metals, so of course silver is the less reactive metal, then so aluminium is the more reactive metals as compared to silver. So in case of electroplating, on the surface of aluminium we will make a layer of silver, and this aluminium seems that this is the made up of copper, this is the made up of silver, but actually this aluminium spoon is not silver, but this aluminium spoon seems that this is made up of silver, but actually they are not made up of silver. This silver layer is made due to the process of electroplating. So here solution we will take silver nitrile solution will take, okay. So again there is electrolysis taking place. So in case of electrolysis, we take a solution. This is the silver plate, this is the aluminium. So what happened during the electrolysis? In case of electrolysis, Ag plus ions, silver Ag plus ions. See, this is the positive side. So this is anode and this is cathode. So aluminium spoon will act as a cathode and silver plate will act as a anode. This is positive, this is a negative. That's why this is anode, this is cathode. So during electrolysis, here is a solution of silver nitrate. So silver ions, they will attract towards the cathode, this is the negative terminal. So Ag plus, they will attract towards the cathode. On the surface of aluminium, all the silver metal will be deposited, and it seems that this aluminium spoon is made up of silver. Okay, silver plated spoons, gold plated ornaments are the examples of electroplating. So you can see in the market also there is the gold chain or gold rings, but they are not in actual. Okay, they are gold appears due to there is the electroplating that is based on the concept of electroplating. Now next topic is alloying, and probably this is the last topic. What is alloying? So majority of metallic substances used presently are in the form of alloy. The main intention behind this is to decrease the intensity of corrosion of metals. So why in day-to-day life, like stainless steel, bronze, etc., these all are the alloy. The main intention is to prevent corrosion. That's why we use alloy. That's why we use alloying. The main intention behind this is to decrease the intensity of corrosion of metals, right? What is alloy? So the alloy is the homogeneous mixture formed by mixing a metal with other metal. So simply this is metal. Alloy is the homogeneous mixture of metals and metals, or simply metals and non-metals. Okay, in certain proportion. This is also important. In any proportion, it is not possible to make alloy. There is certain proportion. It means ki percentage will be fixed. In certain proportion is called alloy. For example, bronze is an alloy formed from 90% copper and 10% tin. So this is fixed. 90%. If you want to make bronze, then you have to take. If you want to make proper bronze, then you have to take 90% copper and 10% tin. Okay, so this is the ratio. If you convert into ratio, then 9:1. But if you want to talk in percentage, that is 90% copper and 1% tin. Bronze statues do not get affected by sun and rain. Stainless steel does not get stains with air or water, and also does not rust. Stainless steel, they are non-corrodable. Okay, it is alloy made up from 74% iron. Stainless steel is the alloy of iron, chromium and carbon, right? So stainless steel, this is important. The questions may come, what is the stainless steel is alloy of iron, chromium and carbon. Okay, and if you want to talk in percentage, then in stainless steel there is 74% iron, 18% chromium and 8% carbon. Okay, so in recent times various types of alloy are used for minting coins. Okay, so do you know this is omitted, students? So if you want to read, you can read. This is also omitted. So this was all about chapter number 8, that is metallurgy. So students, you have to read again and again, because in this topic, in this chapter, you have to learn a lot, because this comes in the category of inorganic chemistry. So after this chapter, first of all I will complete chapter number 10, that is space mission. Then we will start chapter number 9, because chapter number 9 is very long, lengthy chapter. It will take so much time. So I am thinking first of all I will complete chapter number 10, space mission. After completion of space mission, we will come to chapter number 9, that is carbon compounds. Okay. So till then, have a nice day. In the next lecture, we will start chapter number 10, space mission. Okay. Have a nice day. Thank you.